Admiral Zexthor clicked his mandibles in satisfaction as his massive dreadnought emerged from hyperspace at the edge of the Saul system. Behind him, a fleet of 300 warships materialized like deadly shadows against the starfield. The Catherian Empire had conquered 47 star systems in the past century, and this primitive backwater would be number 48. "Scan the third planet," he commanded, his four eyes gleaming with predatory anticipation. "Let's see what these humans have managed to cobble together." The tactical officer's tentacles danced across his console before freezing in apparent confusion. "Admiral, the readings are unusual. Elaborate," Zexthor growled, his patience already wearing. "Then, the planet shows massive industrial activity, but their space presence appears minimal. A few orbital stations, some primitive satellites. No significant fleet detected. Their technology seems ancient by our standards." Zexthor's mandibles spread in what passed for a smile among his species. Intelligence reports had suggested these humans had only achieved interstellar travel within the last few decades. They probably still used chemical rockets and crude fusion drives. This would be easier than expected. "Open a channel to the planet," he ordered. "Let's offer them the standard terms." The view screen flickered to life, showing a human male in what appeared to be a military uniform. The creature looked remarkably calm for someone facing annihilation. "This is General Harrison of Earth Defense Command," the human said in their guttural language, the translator rendering his words with mechanical precision. "You're in violation of Saul system territorial space." Zexthor's laughter was a harsh, chittering sound. "I am Admiral Zexthor of the Catherian Empire. You will surrender immediately and submit to Imperial rule, or we will reduce your pathetic planet to radioactive ash. You have 1 of your minutes to comply." The human's expression didn't change. 1 minute? That seems excessive. Before Zexthor could process the strange response, his sensor operator's panicked shriek filled the bridge. "Admiral, energy signatures spiking across the system, multiple contacts appearing on..." The tactical display exploded into a constellation of red warning indicators. Where empty space had existed moments before, massive structures were suddenly there. Not emerging from hyperspace or uncloaking, simply materializing as if they had always existed. "How many?" Zexthor demanded, his voice cracking with the first note of fear. 12. No, 24. "Admiral, I count over 100 major installations appearing throughout the system. Mass readings suggest they're larger than our dreadnoughts. And Admiral," the sensor operator's voice dropped to a whisper, "they're not just appearing around the planet, they're everywhere, behind us, around us. We're completely surrounded." On the view screen, General Harrison checked what appeared to be a primitive timepiece. 43 seconds remaining in your minute, Admiral. Though I should mention, Earth Defense Command was disbanded about 30 years ago. I'm actually with the Saul System Archaeological Preservation Society now." "Archaeological what?" Zexthor sputtered. "Oh yes, we preserve historical sites. Earth, Mars, the old Jupiter colonies. Lovely pieces of human heritage. Museum pieces, really. We keep them maintained for educational purposes." The human smiled, and somehow that expression was more terrifying than any threat. "You see, Admiral, humans haven't lived in the Saul system for quite some time now. We've been elsewhere." The tactical display continued its frantic updates. The mysterious installations were charging weapons systems that registered power levels beyond anything in the Catherian database. But worse than the impossible technology was the implication of the human's words. "If this is just a museum," Zexthor whispered, "then where are your people?" "Oh, around," General Harrison replied casually. "Though I suppose you'll meet some of them shortly. The actual Saul defense grid was quite offended by your little threat. Humans take our historical sites very seriously. New contacts appeared on the sensors, ships that defied every principle of known physics. They didn't accelerate, they simply existed in one place and then another, as if space itself bent to their will. The vessels were sleek and organic-looking, pulsing with energy that made the dreadnought's reactor look like a child's toy. "Impossible," Zexathor breathed. "The intelligence report said you were primitives." "Intelligence reports based on what we wanted you to see," the human replied. "Did you really think a species would advertise its true capabilities to potential invaders? We learned that lesson from the Centauri contact wars about 2 centuries ago. The first human vessel opened fire, and Zexthor's understanding of warfare died instantly. It wasn't a weapon in any conventional sense. Reality itself seemed to hiccup around his fleet. Space twisted, time stuttered, and in the span of a heartbeat, 24 Catherian ships simply ceased to exist. Not destroyed, not vaporized. They were edited out of existence as if they had never been. "Temporal dissolution weaponry," Harrison explained helpfully. "We find it more humane than conventional destruction. The crews never experienced dying. From their perspective, they were simply never there to begin with." More ships vanished in cascading waves of impossible physics. Zexthor's mighty fleet, the pride of the Catherian Empire, was being systematically erased from history itself. His tactical display showed the terrible mathematics of their situation. 300 ships reduced to 200, then 100, then 50. "Please," Zexthor found himself begging. "We surrender. We'll withdraw." "I'm afraid that's not possible," Harrison replied, his tone almost sympathetic. "You see, the moment you threatened to turn Earth into radioactive ash, you triggered our xenocide prevention protocols. The Saul defense grid is now tasked with ensuring the Catherian Empire never threatens any human settlement again. Ever." The last words hit Zexthor like a physical blow. The humans weren't just defending themselves, they were preparing to erase his entire civilization. But how?" he whispered as his dreadnought shuddered under forces that shouldn't exist. "How did you advance so far without anyone knowing?" General Harrison's smile was sad and terrible. "Admiral, when a species spends its early years being constantly threatened by predators, they develop some very useful survival instincts. We learned to hide our teeth until we needed them." The dreadnought began to fade at the edges, caught in the same temporal dissolution field consuming the rest of the fleet. As his existence unwound, Zexthor's last coherent thought was a warning his species would never receive. The humans had never been the prey. They had always been the apex, predators patiently waiting in the dark between the stars. End.